Well, tariffs are being put on steel imports. This is the latest development in an ongoing saga between the U.S. and China. Hayley Woodin is with Business in Vancouver is joining us now with more on this. So, Hayley, what are we looking at now in terms of the tariffs?
This will be a worldwide tariff, a safeguard measure, if you will, that Canada is taking to try and prevent the Canadian market from being flooded by steel imports because the United States still has import tariffs on its steel products. The way it will work is regular average amounts of steel imports will still be allowed into the Canadian market, but anything exceeding that will be subject to a 25% surcharge starting October 25th. Now, this does include imports from China as well as most of the world, although there are some notable exceptions, including the U.S., Mexico, and developing countries. And this measure will be subject to a 200-day review, at which point I suppose it will be determined whether it needs to remain in place. Additionally, the federal government also announced some relief for Canadian firms that have been paying U.S. steel tariffs and aluminum tariffs as well. That will take the form of refunds for the foreseeable future.
All right. And Hayley, another story that has had some Canadians really worried, those with investments or who work in the cannabis industry have been told that they wouldn't be able to cross over the border, that U.S. Customs could take issue with that. But I understand that rules could be changing.
That's right. They seem to have relaxed their position on this a little bit. Before, it was any affiliation whatsoever, be it as a worker, an investor, or consumer, you would face being turned away at the U.S. border and potentially risk seeing a lifetime ban from entering the United States. Now some leeway has been given to those who work in the cannabis industry. If those workers want to head south for travel, for leisure, for reasons totally unrelated to marijuana, they should be allowed access. Now, that said, the U.S. Customs has been clear that anyone headed south for investment reasons or for any reasons tied to the marijuana industry, they're still facing not being able to enter the United States.
All right. Hayley Woodin with Business in Vancouver joining us with those stories. Of course, that is going to be an ongoing issue with legalization coming up next Wednesday. Thanks so much, Hayley.